do the half kneeling dumbbell shoulder press, really trying to work two things. Obviously, it's a shoulder strengthening exercise, but we're also trying to work a little bit of core stabilization or torso control. So I'm going to keep my forearms perpendicular to the floor the whole time. I'll come down just till the handles are at ear level, but I'll stay nice and square in my torso. So as I lift, I don't want to, I'll show you from this side. As I lift, I don't want to lean back. As I lift, I don't want to arch my back. As I get my arms overhead, I'm trying to stay really, really tall in my torso. You can do this exercise with either a bungee or a cable. I'm going to show you with a bungee because I know some of you train at home. But if you do it with a cable column, it's exactly the same. Just put the cable column at the top, use a double handle. I just have this bungee looped over my power rack. I'm going to choke up a little bit. So if you're pretty tall, you can even sit back on your heels as long as you keep a nice tall torso position. I don't want you leaning back and kind of turning this into a row. I really want it to be more of a bit of a wide pull down. So my elbows will come out to the side just to about shoulder height. My back position remains constant. And as I pull down, I'm squeezing through here. We're going to work on a squat to tap. So here I just have an 18-inch plyo box. You could use a bench, a chair, like a Reebok step, anything you have. But you're going to stand 6 to 8 inches out from the front edge so that you really have to sit back with your hips and so that just your glutes touch. If you're too close, two things, you can kind of squat straight down and really drive your knees forward, but also your hamstrings will touch the bench first, so you're not going to get really down that far. So sitting back in your hips till your bum just touches. See how my torso angle and my shin angle are roughly parallel at the bottom. That's what we're going for in a squat. I want my heels to stay on the ground, my base of support to stay a little bit toward the back of my foot, just in front of my heel, so I don't want the balance on my balls of my feet or toward my toes. And if you have trouble just with that pattern, if you can't get down there keeping your nice neutral back, if you have to kind of get rounded over or your torso is coming too far forward, then you can use assistance. So I have a TRX here that I can use to help kind of keep my chest up and reteach my body that pattern as I go. It doesn't need to be a TRX. You can set a chair in front of you. You can hold a broomstick or a dowel just to help you get that pattern. If you can't get the pattern, if you can't squat down keeping a good neutral back position and your feet flat on the floor, then don't add weight to it. Don't continue with that exercise. We need to find something else that's going to work for you, or you could raise the height up a little, especially if it's just due to, maybe you have arthritis in your knees, that kind of thing. If you're a young player who can't get down there, then you really need to be working on your flexibility. You need to hop on the floor and maybe ask some specific questions, because you definitely should be able to get down there and do that exercise properly. If you follow my blog at all, you've seen me do this exercise a million times. Well, maybe 987,000 times. But you're going to lie on the ground with your knees bent to about 90 degrees, and you're lined up so that the soles of your feet and your heels are basically in line with your back. Now, if you're really not sure where that is, just do this exercise lying along the wall so that your shoulder blades, your bum, and your feet touch the wall, and then you know you're in the right alignment. I'm going to roll my hips forward just a little bit, my top hip forward just a little bit. I keep my feet touching, and then I lift this top knee. Intuitively, it seems like you should be able to get way back here, but that requires you to roll back in your hips. So if you're getting that far, you're probably doing the exercise wrong. You're trying to focus on feeling it out here in the outside of your bum. I don't want you feeling it down the length of your thigh, the outside of your thigh. If you're feeling that, try repositioning. Try poking at your bum and really making sure you feel those muscles tighten as you lift up. If you still can't get it out of your going along the length of your thigh. That tells me you're using the wrong muscle to do this exercise. It's a very common compensation. But you need to hop on the forum again and ask a question of how we can modify that for you. Give me some specific detail and we'll figure it out. Let me just show you from the side what this looks like. So my feet lined up with my back, and I'm just lifting that top knee, making sure I don't let my hips roll back. Here's another exercise I think is tremendous specifically for goalies. It's called the sumo squat. Again, you could hold the dumbbells here. My preference is probably that you hold them up here. Your feet are double hip width, slightly wider. Your toes are just a little bit pointed out. And you're going to squat down. And as you squat down, you're going to push your knees out. So you're actually going to use your glutes to pull your knees out. You're going to come down until this makes a straight line, as long as you have the range of motion to do that safely for you. But you should feel a little stretch in through here. So again, your bum goes back, your knees go out, your chest stays up. Always keeping the knees out, so I don't want your knees pinching in like that. Let me show you what it should look like from the side. This is a quadruped circumduction. So it's really like a rotator, like a pitcher, baseball pitcher would do rotator cuff exercises. These are your rotator cuff exercises for your hip. You're going to bring your heel towards your bum. And then you're going to make circles with that knee. And neatness counts. So I want those circles to be perfectly round. Some are inside, some are behind, some are outside, some are above your hips. So you're tracing a nice circle. Don't let the circle all stay here out the back side. Make sure you're getting all the quadrants worked. Then the other thing you're going to think about is keeping your hips level and a neutral spine. So sometimes when people say they come around here, they'll kind of do a little side crunch as they go. This should not move at all as you go. And the final thing, don't forget to go in the opposite direction.